CashFlow Hacks podcast. I am your host, Chris, and my co-host today is Stephanie.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here with everyone else who's ready to make more, save more, and live more now.
Well, you're in the right place because every week Stephanie and I are going to be sharing some different strategies that your financial advisor doesn't want you to know. We want to do this so that you can flip the script on the financial industry.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. This week's topic is amazing. I'm very excited to hear all about it. It is how to achieve financial freedom, get this, in 3 to 7 years. Now, Chris, that is so different than what any other financial advisor is out there talking about. So please elaborate. Tell us more.
It definitely is different, right? I mean, if you go to a traditional financial advisor, they're telling you that you have to save for 45 years. You have to put away for 45 years, and then you might have enough to be able to retire when you hit 65. Now, a lot of people are thinking 72, or they're thinking they're never going to be able to retire. But why? Because we're putting people's money in the stock market roller coaster, and it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and you never know exactly what you're going to have. The goal is to be able to have enough, at least $1 million by the time it's retirement, and you're going to be able to take out about 4% of that a year, be able to live off of. But I mean, it's not guaranteed. And so what we teach at CQ Consulting is we're only teaching what we know. We're only teaching what we do and what we've done for ourselves. We teach people how to use traditional, not traditional, non-traditional ways of investing their money to create money like the banks make money.
Awesome. And so how does it work that it can shrink your time? So going from that 45 years that you retire when you're 67, 70 to 3 to 7, how do you condense it?
Well, one of the ways that we do it is banks. How do banks make money? What is the best way that banks make money? Besides all the fees, what is one of the ways that the banks make money off of our money?
They loan it out.
Right. They loan our money out to other people and make money off it. And how much do they pay us? Nothing. I recently, and it's been a while, it's been many years since I've seen this, but recently I've heard of high yield bank accounts, savings accounts that are paying around 3%, which people get excited about that. They have CDs, pay 3%. They get excited about it. They tie their money up for a year at a time to make 3% on their money. One of the things in traditional, I mean, you're a traditional advisor. What is one of the things that you talk about when it comes to the rule of 72? When you talk to your clients about the rule of 72,
well, I explain to them
what does that mean for them?
It gives them an idea of how their money is going to grow. So if you take that 72 divided by the interest rate that you're getting, it will give you the number of years that it will take to grow. And so you bring up CDs and, certificates of deposit, but I always call them certificates of depreciation, because at the end of the day, I agree with you. It's not making you any money. Like at the 3%, you take into consideration inflation. You take into consideration if you need to take the money out before that year is up, because like you said, you block it up in there, and then that costs you money, because you lose any interest. And then if you do get the interest from it, it's taxable. So after you deduct all these fees, you're actually in the negative. So I, like you, do not like CDs, right? You're not getting anything from them.
Right. But the stock market, whenever you're going up, it always feels really great because you're making nice returns. However, one of the differences that between the traditional riding the stock market roller coaster is that is, we call that statement wealth. And statement wealth just means it's paper wealth. As long as you're not taking the money from it, the money could disappear tomorrow. So you don't actually have the money. What we like to deal with is contractual wealth. And so we have several different options for our clients to be able to use. They like to diversify. So we have different options for them to be able to grow their money.
Before you go into the different options,
they know exactly.
Before you go into the different options, Chris, can you explain for us and our listeners what contractual wealth is? Because that might be a new term for some people.
Right. So contractual versus statement is a statement. You get your paper, you get your statement that comes in the mail monthly, quarterly, and sometimes it's going to be up, sometimes it's going to be down. When you have a contract, you are contractually going to be receiving what the contract says. So if you have a contract that says you're going to make 12% for the year, that's exactly what you're going to make, 12% for the year. If you have a contract that says you're going to make 22% for the year, that's what you're going to make. It just depends on the opportunity that is available at the time that you decide to invest your money.
Awesome. Okay.
So that real estate has been a way that has created financial freedom for myself. I was able to use the opportunity. When I lost my job in retail, I had a 401k that I had been putting into for 10 years. And when that became available, I was able to use that. I put it in a self-directed IRA. And instead of cashing it out, that is one thing that a lot of people have made a mistake in cashing out their 401k, which ended up costing them not only taxes, but it also cost them in a fee,
right,
in a penalty, because they took it out before they were 59 and a half. Right. So I was able to take mine and turn it into a self-directed IRA. And then I was able to take that money and purchase real estate, which created more assets for me, which created more cash flow, which created more growth in my traditional IRAs.
Right. And so
I turned into self-directed.
This is awesome. Chris, you are sharing so many nuggets. I am just going to, whenever I hear a term that I think that maybe some people are not familiar with, I'm going to stop you and ask you to elaborate. So everybody and their mama has heard the 401k, right? Not everybody knows what a self-directed IRA is. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? So
sure.
What does that mean? Can
so
anybody
self-directed, if you have a 401k and from an old job, you can turn it into a self-directed IRA. If you have a 401k with your job right now, you cannot. You have to keep your 401k. And usually I suggest that people put in their 401k what their company is going to match. Because
what if they
I
don't
know
get
some
a
people say
401k
not
at
to,
all?
but
Can they start a self-directed IRA from themselves, like how they can set up a Roth or a traditional IRA?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's actually the best way to go, because you don't have to just use stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can do that if you want to, but you are allowed to do so much more in a self-directed program like that. You can purchase real estate, you can purchase crypto, you can purchase gold, you can purchase silver, you can purchase notes, all kinds of things that you can do that most people, have never heard about.
Right. And things that you cannot do in a traditional or Roth IRA. IRAs don't permit those types of IRAs don't permit those when they're with a brokerage firm, correct?
Right.
Okay. So being able to
Excuse me, all of
being able to open one of these types of accounts and invest in these real estate options that you're saying, or gold, oil, silver, this is the type of thing that helps you then get to the 3 to 7 years. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, absolutely. Because if you think about that rule of 72, like you were talking about, just with that one thing, and there's lots more to it, but that's one of the simplest ways to look at it, is if you are getting a 12% return on your money, how many years is that going to take you to double that money?
6.
I mean, what is that, Stephanie? 12?
It's
6 years. Okay. So if the bank is paying you less than 1%, let's just say 1% to make it, easy, and you put 1 into 72, how many years is that going to take for your money to double?
It's going to be 72 years. I'm going to be dead.
72 years.
In essence, it's never, right?
Right. Who has 72 years? Right. And the thing with the stock market is, when you lose money, if you lose 50% of your money, you can't just gain back 50% of your money. You have to gain 100%. How often do you get 100% return the very next year?
That is such a good point, Chris, because that happens all the time. People think like, oh, I dropped 50%. I just need 50% to go back up. But you're right. You need 100%, because if you had 100,000 and it went down to 50,000, you need to have 100% increase to go back up to the 100. If you only go 50% up again, then you're at 75. But people don't realize that. That is a huge point you just made with the stock market. Yes.
Right. And they're just putting themselves back to where they were. And how long, I mean, the stock market, the S&P 500 lost 49% of the money in 2008, 2010, during the recession. People lost a lot of their money. And did they get it all back the very next year when the market started? I mean, not the next year, but as soon as the recession was over, how long did it take for them to get back to where they were? And so if you don't ever have to have 0 years or negative years, it makes your 45 years shrink way down. When you don't have anything negative and you're always going positive, then that's one of the things that I thought was pretty exciting when you and I started working together, because we totally thought about things differently. And I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to work for us to work together, but it has actually turned out to be pretty amazing. I think even for you, like just because you've been able to see something,
my
your
mind
future
has
totally
been
differently,
blown
right?
by all of the things that I have learned by working together. There are so many things that in that industry, I don't want to say that we all drank the Kool-Aid, but like when you're in that industry and they're pushing you to say certain things, and they're making you believe like this is the best thing ever, you think like, hey, yes, I'm in this industry, this is what they're teaching us, this is what we're learning about, this is, I always wanted to do the best thing for my client. And then speaking with you and learning all of these other options, for me, it's just like, oh, I have to share this with everybody. I can't keep this to myself. And it becomes like so important to be able to share this information and this knowledge, because in the traditional arena industry, in that bubble, right, we're not talked to about these things because we're not allowed, because of our licenses, to talk about them. So we're not educated on it, and we're kept in this little area with the best intentions in the world. But once you learn something more, like, you can't go back. So working together for me has been
right, and
a blessing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's you can't, because when I had my licenses, it felt like I had to help people with my arms tied behind my back. And it's interesting because like I knew all these ways to make money, but I wasn't allowed to tell them. And I didn't like that. That's why I decided I needed to leave. I said, I can't. I mean, I didn't feel like I could take care of my clients the right way and be able to share the right thing. Like I was basically making them have to work and put money in for 45 years, at least, to be able to just have that opportunity to maybe have enough to retire. And I just didn't like that. When I knew that for myself, I was able to create that financial freedom for myself, and I needed to share it with other people. So I'm really excited to be having this, starting this podcast with you and start sharing some of the different strategies that we've been able to use and be able to help our clients create financial freedom for themselves.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be a great podcast. We're going to be doing it weekly, having lots of different topics, just like this one. Next week, we are going to be talking about how to make money like the banks. So I'm very excited to hear all about that topic as well. And for anybody else out there listening, stay tuned for our podcast from next week so you can learn a little bit more from Chris and I on how to make money like the banks and grow your wealth in a shorter time frame and not have to go on the roller coaster of the market, right?
Yep. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining me today, and all of you that are listening. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And
to your financial freedom.
Yes. All right. Talk to you guys next time.
Thank you.